Man, men lie, women certainly lie, but numbers never lie. Let me ask you a question, just a simple yes or no answer. Was this person calling me a scammer? Were they ever a client of mine?
No.
Okay, there you go. So you're calling me a scammer, but you've never, been a part of my services. You've never spoken to me one-on-one. Chances are he or she has never spoken to me one-on-one. So sounds like a hater to me, but absolutely. I love that shit because I'm only getting richer. So yeah, keep hating.
Dude,
it's 2 Lambos in the driveway. How many you got?
Alrighty, guys, this is episode 28 of the iKONIC podcast. Tony and I are super stoked about this one because just a couple days ago, we were talking about who can we get on the podcast that continues to deliver value, is always up to extraordinary things. So we got our boy James back in the chair with us. James, thanks a lot for joining us, man.
Thank you guys for having me. 28. Wow.
28, man. Yeah. Can you believe it, dude? We're coming up on 30.
What episode were you guys on when I did my first episode with you guys?
21.
Oh my God, you guys are friggin' blowing up. Good for you guys, man. Good for you guys.
Dude, no.
Round of applause for the iKONIC podcast
best,
really
dude.
quick, man.
Appreciate
Good for
you,
you
dude.
guys.
We're super pumped because we were discussing this a lot. You gave us a lot of good nuggets, and this is why we wanted to come in today, and I feel like there's a lot more to discuss.
Yeah.
But when we first had you on the pod, right, you were a credit guru, credit repair, you were talking about funding, e-commerce, and there was a lot we got out of. But
yeah.
Like you said before, and to this day, it always resonates with me. It's like collaboration is like a big thing in this game.
Yep.
You gave us some advice a little bit before. You're like, guys, you got to push out more content. You gotta get a system here where you're in everybody's faces nonstop at any given time.
Yep.
So we took your advice, and we recently got an editor, man, and you got to meet him. 18-year-old hustler, bro. Wow. Bro, he has
amazing.
Like 20 plus clients. He's given us massive like engagement with some big Instagram influencers. Sure. Bro, such a game changer now pushing that content.
Amazing.
Huge.
And if I'm not mistaken, I did want to actually just throw this in there. I think he actually said he reached out to you recently. So before you take off, I'll just show you like his Instagram handle, whatever. Maybe you could like.
Yeah, I get like 1,000 DMs of people like wanting to edit my stuff all the time. So he's probably like in my DM somewhere, happy to see who it is.
Yeah,
but that's awesome for you guys, man. Consistency is key.
Dude, it's such an important thing. But going back into that, man, what's new with you, bro? What do you got going on? We've been eyeing some things on the stories.
Honestly, man. Same shit, different day, you know, outside of social media, same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Changing lives through credit repair, funding, e-commerce, doing my thing, hustling, grinding. Realistically, I mean, only new thing really is I got back from Dubai probably about like a month and a half ago. Okay. It was a nice little 3-week trip just to get out of here. It was really cold. Yeah. Nice to be in the Middle East. Other than that, got a second dog. I adopted a second Shiba Inu as well.
Nice.
He unfortunately was like abandoned by his owner, like was tied up in like freaking like warehouse alley. It's so sad. So got a new dog, and other than that, man, just hustling, same shit, different day, talking my shit online, creating controversy.
Hell yeah.
Increasing my hater count and increasing my follower count as well, and just helping people, man. Same shit. I live a boring life.
Dude, James, listen, dude, you really are a king with that. And speaking of which, I heard you say changing people's lives.
Yeah.
I do have to say, shout out to my buddy Tariq, but he actually told me we were out one night having a beer that he linked up with you.
Yeah.
You guys got some business going on.
Yeah.
And he told me that. And by the way, I'm going back like a month and a half, 2 months ago. And even at that time, he's like, Nick, my credit score jumped 100 points.
Yes.
And that was a while ago. So like,
yeah,
good stuff, dude. You guys are killing it.
Yeah, Tariq, we got a bunch of collections, charge-offs, late payments deleted for him. And we're actually almost done with this repair. It's only been a couple months, so we're almost completed with him, and he's going to be well on his way to living a lifelong of great credit.
Absolutely, dude.
And you know what's so interesting about it though? It's because like there's a couple things that go into this, right? When we first brought it up to me, he's like, "And like I'm willing to pay anything, but I need this to work out for me."
Sure.
Like, because I feel like nowadays there's so many programs that say they're gonna help consolidate your debt, but it's like a 3-4 year process. Mm-hmm. Your credit has to take a hit, and it's gonna take you another 2-3 years to even get credit back. Mm-hmm. And dude, when he told me that, remember we had this conversation back in like November, December.
Yes. Yep.
And when he told me, I think he was sitting at like a 500 or something, or
it was a low 500.
It was like a low 500. Dude, 100 points from a 5 to a 6. You could at least at that point get approved, maybe high interest.
Yeah,
but still get approved. So I was like, holy cow, man. Yeah. No, all I gotta say is this, and you know what's crazy? Back to like the whole like controversy thing. I think it's so insane how many people try to discredit you. I'm not gonna lie with you. My DMs were blowing up when we had the 2 Lambos outside.
Yeah.
When we had the conversation.
Made some noise.
Dude, this guy's a scammer. Dude, don't believe in his credit thing. It doesn't work, man. The business isn't real. He con people. And you know what? We all listened. I was like, I had a conversation. I went out to dinner with you, by the way, James.
Yeah.
If you were, he was like, "Be careful, man. He's gonna try to sell you something." So I gotta speak for myself here. When we had someone that needed your help, and they showed us result, brother.
That's it.
Hey, listen, like we gotta talk about referrals and whatnot, man. Because I'm gonna start sending a ton of freaking people out to you, man.
Man, men lie, women certainly lie, but numbers never lie. Let me ask you a question, just a simple yes or no answer. Was this person calling me a scammer? Were they ever a client of mine?
No.
Okay, there you go. So you're calling me a scammer, but you've never, been a part of my services. You've never spoken to me one-on-one. Chances are he or she has never spoken to me one-on-one. So sounds like a hater to me, but
Absolutely.
I love that shit because I'm only getting richer. So
Yeah.
keep hating.
Dude,
There's 2 Lambos in the driveway. How many you got?
Okay, so we're not gonna name drop it specifically.
No, name them.
Name them.
Name them.
Okay,
Name
so
him, name him.
We gotta get this
Name
in here at
him.
the end of the episode.
so
Because I offered him to meet up with me, he wouldn't do it.
Oh, wait. So Abdul reached out to you.
Yeah.
So for the backstory for the audience, this guy's name's Abdul. Went to school with him. Didn't go to school with him, actually. Knew him after high school through one of my other friends. But funny enough, he reached out. He's like, man, this thing's a rental, yada, yada, yada. His business isn't real. There's no way he's actually doing this. And for whatever reason, he got inspiration through these like now internet detectives that like basically try to crack down on like bad
Yeah.
businesses.
Like a
fake
CoffeeZilla.
businesses.
Like CoffeeZilla,
Baller,
Baller,
All those
Busters and
guys.
all those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So, anyways, funny enough, I was questioning. I was like, "Why do you think the rental's like? What do you think it is?" He pulled out this stupid Reddit post from like
I know who it's from. Yeah.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
a kid named Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, continue.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I have a whole story about that too.
yeah. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, what's the end goal here? Like, what? It's like, man, like you better not try to sell you anything. And this is my point. Why we talked about the testimonial, right? Because I'm sitting here. I'm like, all right, where's the proof? Where is like actual strong proof that you know someone or
Not a Reddit opinion.
not
Yeah.
a Reddit opinion that first of all didn't even say you did anything. It was more of like, and it's funny. It was actually made you look good. James got me approved for like 75K, something crazy and funding.
It was like 85.
85, and
Yeah.
the kid ran up the credit card, and apparently Abdul goes like, "You see, man." I was
No,
like,
he tried to start a churro business and he didn't listen. He didn't listen to my advice. What
Yeah.
happened was
Yeah.
So
Fill in the people.
So Abdul, brother, let's link.
Yeah.
Let's link. I'll show you both rentals. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have the iKONIC boys pull up in the Urus and I'm pull up in a Huracan. I can show you the insurance. I can show you the registration. I can show you my Bank of America, the payments.
Yeah.
What idiot fucking puts vanity plates that say credit and limitless with their Instagram handle on a rental? So you're just a fucking brokey fucking idiot, first and foremost.
Oh my God.
And clip that shit. And the second thing is, so the whole story about this kid is the fact that he came to me, a young, hungry, ambitious individual. He found me on social media. He lives all the way out in California. We got along very well. We were like brothers. The dude was living, like, similar story to me. He was living in his mom's house, didn't make much money. He worked at a Korean barbecue spot. He was begging me to help him. And what happened was he signed up for my mentorship program, like one-on-one mentorship, which I don't take a lot of people for. Where it's like we're getting on a Zoom call once a week, even twice a week for an hour to an hour and a half. And I'm literally answering. It's like a AMA, ask me anything, or I'm literally giving the game. This is exactly how you form your LLC. This is how you start your churro business. This is how you do marketing. This is how you close deals. This is how you hire employees.
You gave him the keys.
I basically gave him everything that I knew. He never wanted to listen to me. He always wanted to listen to outside people.
Right.
Everything was always he was the victim mindset. Everything was always everyone else's fault. And the list goes on for days. Then he decides that he didn't want to listen to me, so of course he didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And he decided to default on all of his credit cards for the funding that I got him, and he decided to make a Reddit post on me.
Oh my
And if you
God.
read the comments on that one Reddit post,
Literally,
find
yeah.
one
Reddit.
more negative review about me.
Never.
Find one more.
None. There's none.
Find, and if it is, it's probably fake, or it's a probably crazy explanation behind it, story behind it. Find one more review other than that guy, okay? And I will literally, Abdul, whatever the fuck your name is, bro. You could take my rental for a week, bro. Find one more, and you could take my rental for a week. And it's funny because this motherfucker DM'd me every single day, out of the blue, like
Every day.
6 a.m., 12 a.m., 10 p.m., 3 a.m.
Oh God.
Oh, bro, just stop it, bro. You're a fucking scammer. Just stop it, bro. Those are rentals. It's like, how are they fucking like? Are you retarded? Like, just think about it.
I never understood where the
Who
haters
puts their
get that
own
energy.
Instagram handle and a custom plates literally catered around their business on a rental? And shit, a rental? Hold on. You know what, Abdul? Thank you. I take that as a compliment. Because I drive my shit every single day.
Hey, yeah.
A Huracan or yours is $800 to $1,200 a day. Multiply that by 30 days. So you're actually complimenting me by saying I'm really rich. Because apparently to you, I'm fake rich.
Right.
Because if I could rent these cars every single day, that's like 10x my car payment.
James, bro, I didn't know this
So
guy
you're
reached out
making
to
me,
you.
Yeah.
So you're making me richer than I actually am.
Dude, it's so crazy, man.
You're a
Like,
scumbag.
Yeah.
You're a
people-
nobody.
People,
Like, dude, and we spoke about this last time. It's always the people that are kind of up to nothing. That
No, he's
wanna
literally
talk-
doing nothing with his life, though. Like, look at his page. He's doing nothing with his life.
and you know what? I think
Necessity, certified hater.
this is really gonna go viral here. What do you think is the leading cause for men having this mindset? Like, for example, myself, I look at everybody else, I just clap, and I'm like, hopefully
too.
one day I get there. I'm gonna work my ass off. I'm gonna get there.
Me too.
Where do you think this epidemic? Because it's an epidemic. It's not just him. There's so many people I know that just think like this. I live just to be mediocre, and everybody who's doing better than me, they're either scamming or they didn't deserve
Yeah.
it. Where's your opinion
I
on this?
think it comes down to lack of self belief, and it's also more importantly self accountability. Because as a man, everything is your fault. If you're a woman, you have the luxury of playing the victim and blaming things on
Agreed.
other people, right? You're a woman, you have the luxury to do that. But as a man, every motherfucking thing is your fault, right? Like Andrew Tate said, if you walk into a building
Yeah.
to do a podcast and the building collapsed, it's not your fault, right?
Right.
But you could have went and checked the infrastructure and the walls to
Right.
make sure everything wasn't going to break. So
Over-preparedness, right.
still, it's my fucking fault as a man. Like, you get the point.
Yeah,
Everything is your
yeah.
fault as a man.
It's accountability. Great.
So I think that people like this idiot Abdul,
Yeah.
I just think the fact that is that he doesn't believe in himself that he can actually make real money, 10K a month, 20K a
Right.
month, or actually leave his, parents' basement and get out of his job and do something that he's
Right.
passionate about like I am. But also, what is he doing? Accountability.
Right.
What is he doing on a day-to-day basis,
right.
to get himself closer to that goal?
Agreed.
He has no accountability. I'm gonna this, next week this, Monday that. Next year this, New Year,
Tomorrow.
new me.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
right,
I'll
right.
do it later when I
Never
get home.
comes. Never comes.
But like, where's the accountability as a man
Right.
of you actually making that happen?
I agreed. And I think that's the biggest thing right now.
The siren just went off.
Yeah, hey, that's
Because I just shut up some fire on Abdul's ass. Bro. Abdul's house is on fire right now. His mommy's house is on fire right now.
And here's the thing. Listen, for me, anybody's opinion about me, whether it's online, whether it's in person,
Yeah.
anything negative to me, at the end of the day, you take it. If they're somebody with some kind of credibility, you take it as constructive criticism. But at the end of the
Sure.
day, if you're just down here to put somebody down, I feel sorry for you because I don't understand why.
What is the goal?
Why
Yeah,
are you suffering?
yeah.
But to that point, only reason I want to address this one specifically was because the lengths. He actually ended up making a fake account
I know.
on
yeah.
our YouTube.
So we were
I know. I saw it.
we were getting,
I know all of this.
But yeah, we were getting a bunch of hate comments, and then
Yeah.
and then he actually reached out to Tony when he was on the phone, and Tony was like
God.
this. He's like, dude, let me just ask you one question. Are you Hunter?
Yeah, that was his name. Hunter something was his freaking
yeah,
like.
what did he gain out of that though?
Nothing. I mean, you know what it is though, but it's also from like, and I promise you this is another epidemic I've seen, like lack of attention from women. I feel like you don't
Yeah,
get
have you
attention
seen the
from
way
women.
he looks?
I actually
Dude,
never
you're
have.
fucking, he's a pussy.
I've never
Yeah.
seen him.
He's
But-
a skinny, ugly twat with fucked up teeth. Look at me. I'm fucking handsome. I'm tatted. I got straight ass white teeth.
Yeah.
I'm shredded.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, dude. I mean, listen, man,
Right,
you're
sure.
doing.
I'm not tall, but I'm handsome.
Hey, that's half the
If
battle.
I stand on my money, Abdul, I'm tall.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Nah, dude, it's fucking hilarious though, man. How this whole
Yeah,
thing
it's
played
the
out.
best, James.
One thing I admire about you a lot, James, is you. There's somebody that said this recently. I forgot who said it, but it was like, you have to make sure you operate at 50-50. You have to have an audience that 50% love you, but 50% hate you. Because once the comments go on, there's gonna be people defending you, but there's also gonna be people trying to shit on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, getting that engagement is extremely important. I noticed you, James. You're extremely fearless on gaining that controversy, putting yourself out there, getting that kind of turmoil happening, whether it's in your comments, on your post. What is a good way to think about this in your eyes on why you like doing that?
MFA, money follows attention.
That is true.
I don't care what you think. I care about my money.
Right.
Because my money, retired my parents. My money gave me all these beautiful experiences in life, allowed me to take care of my family, allowed me to have the freedom to just pop up on a Wednesday night and do this amazing podcast with both of you amazing gentlemen, right? So I shut it off, man, because literally it's like I look at this stuff and I'm just like a guy like Abdul.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, bro, like he's messaging me at all hours. I'm like, damn, like
He's obsessed
I
with
replied to him a couple times. I'm like, holy shit, I spent 8 minutes replying to this guy, like back and forth. I could have used that 8 minutes to make another 5K.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it just doesn't like that 50-50. It's right,
Yeah.
but also, guys, how much money does Andrew Tate make?
God only
Tens
knows.
of millions, hundreds of
Hundreds
millions.
of
Bro,
millions.
the guy makes like 300-400 million a year. He makes like, dude, on a bad month he does like 12 million a month from one of his business ventures, from Hustlers University.
Right.
He's not 50-50.
No.
He's like 80-20. 80% of
yeah.
people.
Remember my sister's friend with the
Oh my God.
80%
yes.
of people despise the motherfucker. 20% like him. But guess what? It's not the 20% that make him rich. It's the 80% because
right.
all the comments, misogynistic, scammer,
Right.
this, that. And it's like, engagement, algorithm, hello.
Hello,
He's
yeah.
flying up.
MFA, money follows
I mean,
attention.
even the fact that we're still having a conversation about it, even to this point, shows he's staying relevant. And
He's
I mean,
top G.
Yeah.
I saw him in Dubai.
No way.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
you
in
still
Dubai.
fucking went?
Yeah, I didn't like shake it. I saw him like we were
was
at
he
like
at?
a close proximity. He was just at like a restaurant with his boys.
James,
in,
actually
in his
brings up-
orange Bugatti.
Actually brings up a good point here.
You saw the orange Bugatti?
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, you saw like
Yeah, it's typical in Dubai though. It's
Yeah,
not-
yeah,
I don't
everywhere.
get it's every other block.
Do you rent cars out there? Yeah, right?
I did years ago before I got my Lambos just to feel out like what I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
And now I don't rent. I just get driven everywhere. I hate driving out there. I just like to, I get like a Sprinter van and I just sit in
That's
the back
it, yeah.
and fucking
Oh my
record.
God.
Don't let Abdul hear that you rented a car back in the day because he's gonna clip it and make it seem you rented.
Oh shit! Yeah, actually, all of my cars are rentals, Abdul. All of them.
Exactly. And that was the thing though, right? It's like if it didn't work, here's the thing people don't understand, right? Also about business, and this is how we're gonna slowly get into the whole credit game because
Sure.
I feel like if you're running a legitimate business, first of all, you gotta get approved by the Better Business Bureau, right? That's extremely important. I mean, it's so easy when you see like these LMMs that right now are all falling apart. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, but
Yes, I have.
A ton of the MLMs are falling apart. IML is just coming
Yep.
out, and they were like, no, it's a legitimate business. But like someone for yourself, I feel like if you're running a grift here, dude, you're only gonna have 6 months of business at best until something comes up. There's exposure videos, and I mean, James, you could speak for yourself on this. How many years have you been running your credit business now?
We're honestly coming up on 6, but to be exact, we're gonna like 5.5.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, so over a half of a decade. And you know what's funny is I don't want to sit here and start justifying myself because that's irrelevant. Because again, the numbers
of course.
of my clients and somebody
Yeah.
that you guys are closely friends with can do all of the talking for me. But what's funny is if I truly was a scammer for the last half of a decade,
Yeah.
how is it that every single day or at max, just so I don't bore my audience to death,
Right.
every other day I have brand new results? And here's the thing: when I post these results onto my Instagram, it literally has the client's full name. I'll blur out their last name for
Yeah, of course,
privacy
right.
purposes. But it says the date that the items were deleted. So May 28th, I just posted some today. One of my clients, Jeremy, right? Jeremy D is his last name, initials. Of his delete, he got like 3 deletions, over 15K of debt, collections and charge-offs gone. And it literally says his full name and his date. So, we're all scammers to somebody, man, at the end of the day.
Agreed. Well
And at the end of the day, the results speak for themselves. My clients are happy. You can't satisfy everybody, but
Of course.
99%
It's
of my
business,
clients
right?
are happy.
There's Karens out there; they're never gonna be.
And
yeah.
and if you're not putting $1 into my pocket, I don't really care about your opinion. I care about my clients' opinions.
Right. You care about what you're doing for your clients. You're doing the better for them.
100%.
And that's always gonna be business in general. Whether you're working for somebody or working for a company, everyone's always gonna have a complaint. But I gotta say, man, just commend you. That's why I also want to bring in because first of all, when it comes to credit repair, there's a lot of conversations to be had, right? Mm-hmm. The most important thing right now, and I'm sure you're noticing, the Fed is cutting interest rates. Klarna right now is going through a hell of a thing. People are defaulting on so many credit lines.
Of course I did.
It's like, and I was talking, I was like, dude, this is exactly what I want to get into because with all this happening, with people right now living penny to penny and leveraging credit more than ever at this point.
Sure.
What do you think this is going to happen with the credit card companies with all these faults? Because I feel like at this point, your business might even boom even more.
Yeah, and it has because here's the thing, right? There's 2 sides of the credit game when it comes to providing a service.
Right.
I mean, there's multiple sides, but there's 2 primary sides.
Okay.
There's the debt consolidation companies, and then there's people like me. We don't do debt consolidation for multiple reasons. The first reason is because of the fact that debt consolidation actually, it would be harming the client's credit score even more. They come to me with one goal, and it's to fix their credit.
Exactly.
So debt consolidation, all that happens is, okay, Anthony, you have 20K worth of debt with Amex, and it's like you hire a debt consolidation company. They're literally calling Amex to negotiate a payment plan.
Yep.
To go ahead and put you on a lesser payment or settle for a little bit lesser than the 20K, right? What does that do? Well, number one, it's still taking money out of your pocket. And number two, it absolutely, positively tanks your credit score.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, on the credit repair side of things, what happens is, okay, well, we're saying, okay, this negative account, this Amex is charged off, or it's a collections. What we're doing is we're taking that account and we're disputing the errors and inaccuracies under the U.S. federal laws, which we can get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
And we're removing that debt. We're deleting not only the account, but we're deleting the debt off of your credit report as a whole. So, we're increasing your credit score, which is what people need and want in order to move, get a house, buy a car, get funding, grow their business, get money for inventory. You have emergency funds, whatever, they need that. And B, we're in a sense actually forgiving that debt away instead of saying, all right, I'm going to put you on a payment plan for $1,100.65 a month, and you have 36 months to pay it off to Amex while your credit score tanks from a 620 to a 575. So completely like two different sides of the game. And, U.S. debt is at an all-time high, like you said.
Is, yeah.
So during times like these, people, and we've seen such an increase of volume for our credit repair services of people just struggling. Like, hey, I like James, they tell my team, like, I'm behind on these bills. It's worse than COVID, bro. Like,
it is. It's
worse than
really
COVID.
bad
I'm behind
right
on my
now.
bills. I can't pay this. I had a couple clients a couple weeks ago come to me. Hey, like I defaulted. They're trying to repo, one of my cars. And this is kind of like where we come in and, we do everything that we can to try to save them from that. Certain situations are more so of a civil matter, but, that's where we kind of step in and give a helping hand.
And give a helping hand. So, and I want to give you here a prompt for you, and I want to see how you would approach it, right?
Sure.
Because I feel like that's people are forks in the roads. What makes sense for me?
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm a regular person. I have 70K in debt.
Sure.
I have my credit already tanked, right?
Sure.
I'm charged off on all these credit cards. Everything charged off. I'm sitting at like a 500, and I don't make a lot of money though, right? That's gonna be the key difference here. I don't make a lot of money. I make like about 30K a year.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, I'm struggling.
Sure.
But I save enough to afford your services, right?
Sure.
Would it make sense for them to go the debt cost consolidation route, or if everything's already charged off, get it removed?
So
Good question,
that's the key line right there. Everything's already charged off. Everything is already sent to the debt collector.
Yes.
Everything has already been sold to a third party. They have already reported the negative remarks onto your credit report. So here's the thing that people don't understand. And this is, I've been saying this for years now. All these clips go viral. People tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Somehow the numbers still don't lie, right?
Right.
Never pay a debt collector. Never pay off a charge off. Okay, because what happens is, again, let's take Capital One Bank. If Capital One Bank, which recently they had a merger with Discover, by the way, which we could possibly talk about that a little bit later as well, the pros and cons of that. But if Capital One Bank decides, hey, like Anthony or Nick, you guys have been late, 180 days on this credit card payment. That's 6 months. We're gonna charge it off. We're gonna write it off as a loss, for our company.
You no longer owe us that money. It's over.
Right, or we're gonna send it off to ABC Debt Collection Company. They literally sold your debt for pennies on the dollar. So here's what happens. When you pay it, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. Because what you're doing is you're paying a debt that A, doesn't belong to you anymore, and B, guess what? When you pay it, you're essentially snitching on yourself, and they're going to report it onto your credit report anyways.
Anyway, yeah.
Now hold on. Here's what I mean for the audience out there when I say snitching on yourself, right? They have to legally validate and verify that the debt belongs to you under the law.
Right.
Well, what do I mean by that? I opened the credit card. James, I opened the credit card. I used the credit card. What do you mean? It is mine, right? Is it though? Because when you open up your credit report, how much inaccurate information is there on your credit report? Right? 9 times out of 10, your name doesn't match across all 3 credit bureaus. Your birthday doesn't match across all 3 credit bureaus. Your address doesn't match. There's like 30 previous addresses from when you used to live when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Your employers don't match. And legally, the way they under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all your info has to be accurate. One full name, one full birthday, one full address.
All 3 credit bureaus.
Across all 3 credit bureaus, it has to be accurate. It has to match, right? One employer, unless you actually work multiple jobs, that's obviously an exception.
And in this case, right, as you're going on,
Yeah.
if one of the credit bureaus doesn't have it accurately, then you have a case there, right?
Then you automatically have a case because that's inaccurate information. But I'm going to actually take it even a step farther,
Okay.
right?
That's crazy.
So I'm going to take it even a step farther. how did who gave the debt collector, right? So you pay them, it's just gonna get marked as paid
Right.
under the account status. They're not gonna delete it off your credit report. It's just gonna get marked as paid, right? But they didn't even verify it belongs to you. And even if they tried to verify that it belongs to you, who gave them the right to access your information? Because there's a law, right? It's 15. Listen up. It's 15 U.S. Code 6802B opt-out requirement. And this is what this law states. This law states that any financial institution, okay, out there, Bank of America, any financial institution,
Right.
they have to legally notify you and let you know in writing if they plan to share your NPI, which stands for non-public personal information, with a non-affiliated third party. That's the first part of the law. Okay. They have to let you know. So you guys ever go on a website, you see like the privacy policy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like
accept all cookies and all that. Yeah,
how we use your information. So
Right.
they have to let you know. Okay, cool. James, they let me know. Now what? Okay, they let you know. But here's where the law comes in. You have a right, and they have to give you a clear, concise, okay, explanation that you have the right to opt out. Whether it's a button on their website, you reply to an email, a toll-free number that you can call for you to opt out of having your information not being shared with a non-affiliated third party. So what's a non-affiliated third party? A debt collection agency.
Yep.
So put it this way. I'm a scammer, right? So put it this way, right? I guess I scammed the law, right? So put it this way. If they, okay, let's just say they didn't put in writing for you that they're going to share your info, right? That's already a violation. I don't even have to go to step B. But let's just say they did.
Right.
Because a lot of these companies, they do. They have it in like, size 3 font.
At the bottom. Yeah.
Cool, they have that. But like, did you give me a fair chance,
Right.
okay, to go ahead and opt out of having my NPI not being shared?
What constitutes a fair chance?
Like a letter in the mail? Like
Letter in the mail.
Understood.
It has to be something in writing, or do you have to have a toll-free number or an email, something that
allows me to call
or something in writing that allows you.
Dude, that's so nuts.
I don't consent for I want to opt out of having this information shared.
Yeah.
So how does this tie into the whole collections thing? Why you shouldn't pay it off? Well, they couldn't verify you, right? But not only that, if you truthfully, like if you opted out and they still shared your information with ABC Debt Collection Company, which is a non-affiliated third party,
Right.
What did they just violate? They violated your rights. Delete, or you can sue them. But realistically, do they want to get a lawyer for a $2,000-$3,000 credit, even a $20,000 credit card? You know how expensive a lawyer is for that?
Oh my god, they make more of the interest of people on just regular credit cards.
So what are they gonna do? Delete.
And didn't you say that happens very often?
It happens to 99% of consumers, and that's why I'm in business, because people like me, and I have lawyers, attorneys, and experts on my team. I don't know every single law in the book.
Of course, no, that's fair.
I'm the CEO of the company. I'm not. I know the majority. I know like the basics, and I don't want to say just the basics, but I know the majority. But I have people on my team that
they do this.
We can open up a whole dictionary,
They'll know
dictionary
like the back of their hand
of the laws to where these things are being violated, and therefore they're forced to delete these negative items.
That's
so
crazy.
nuts.
You see, and I feel like I'm so happy you listed out, because I feel like people don't understand how you're doing it, and I don't think you could have explained it any better.
Exactly,
because
that was so clear.
It's so legitimate, right? Obviously, you have your legal team backing it up, because normal people like us, it's a whole different ball. But that's why if I want to get this removed, and just for people, right? Because this is a misconception, and I want you to speak on this. If I have a charge off, then, and to really clarify on the prompt I gave you earlier, if I already got charged off, my credit's already crap. It's all everybody already these companies already took the loss. I'm struggling here at like a 510, 480.
Yes.
I'm just better off going to you or a service like yours to just get it removed.
Non-biased, factual statement.
Yes.
Because if you go to the debt consolidation route, what's the point though? It's already charged off. Your credit has already tanked. You kind of answered the question yourself.
Yeah.
So what are you paying exactly? You're just paying off the creditor or the debt collection company after they already tanked your credit, after the account status is already negative and your credit score tanked 200 points. So the reason why it's better to go with a credit, it doesn't have to be me. It
Right,
could be
right.
any credit repair company, is because the goal is now to get that removed off of your credit report
just move forward.
so that your credit score can shoot back up and then you can have a clean slate.
That is so amazing. Yeah, because I feel like that's where I was a bit confused from our first conversation.
Sure.
And especially now, man, like we talked about before, the defaulting, people are getting their cars report every single day. People are defaulting on their credit cards.
Man said it's worse than COVID.
It's worse than COVID. No. And I think
it is.
I think for
At least
our
they were getting
viewers-
$1,200 checks. They're not getting anything. They're just tanking it right now.
No,
Everybody.
and that's what I'm saying right now is like a lot of people are probably confused. Like, oh crap! Like, do I have so much overwhelming debt? Do I just consolidate it,
Yeah.
or if I already took the L, right? Because there's a difference between like owing student loans. You can't. I don't even think you could even consolidate that. That's like kind of sticks with you. I don't know that side of the business, but in this case, credit card debt specifically.
James is smiling.
And we'll get into that then in a second.
Yeah.
But I know credit card specifically. Once you charged off, don't pay it off. Go to a credit repair company because now let me ask you this. It's going to be important. Assuming, right, I didn't get this information before today's podcast, by the way, right?
Sure.
Assuming I didn't get this information and I pay the debt collector, are they going to actually remove it right away and then my credit goes up? Or no?
They don't remove it, period. So that's the whole point. They don't
okay.
remove it, period.
Wow.
Right? So they tell you, so this is what debt collectors do. Okay? They're going to scare you. They're going to try to scare you.
Okay.
They're going to harass you. They're going to call you. They're going to call your job. Okay? They might call your wife. They might call your brother, your mom.
Really?
Right? They're going to find
Okay.
out where you live, blah, 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 because they're going to get all of this information.
Yeah, 'cause they wanna get paid, yeah.
Most of the time when they get this information,
That's
it's
crazy.
by the way, when they get this information, is it a legal way that they're getting the information? Maybe not. Most of the time, it's not. They're
You
scraping
can buy
it.
everyone's data nowadays.
Yeah,
though,
they're
so
scraping it off the
Yeah.
data furniture,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So all they're doing is they're going to scare you for you to pay, and then usually what they do is they do like a 70-30 profit split of what they get from you. They get 30 or 75-25, 80-20,
Right.
whatever. You get the point.
Yeah.
Between the original creditor and them. And then it's literally go on your credit report. It's literally just going to say account status, paid collection. A paid collection is just as bad as a regular collection because when you go to apply for a loan, when you go to apply for a mortgage,
gonna see you
when you go to the dealership to get a car, what are they going to see? They're going to see it's still a collection. But if we delete it, where are they going to find that collections? It's not there.
It's like totally off your credit profile.
It's off your credit profile, so they
Yeah.
can't find it. So that's why it's literally paying off of collections is literally the worst thing to do.
Holy crap. And James, by the way,
golden.
I've been wanting to dig into this so deep, so I'm so happy how much of the details we're getting now.
Sure.
Going into further than that, right? So we talk about people that are rock bottom, right? Already got a ton of charge off. They're screwed.
Yeah.
How about like just a regular day-to-day, normal young 20-year-old, once in a while maybe they hit a tough spot. They had a late payment, maybe two. Could they also leverage your services to be like, hey man,
Yeah.
like I had this one late payment one time, I dropped 80 points. I went from a 720, now I'm a 650.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Is that person eventually going to need credit?
Always, yeah. You need credit for everything. Yeah.
There's your answer.
Oh, so you can fix that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we work with, I have clients of all magnitudes. I have clients that are literally, I mean, I'm when I say like they are struggle busing, like unemployed, and it's like, something like they get resourceful, they're able to find the money for our services, which to me, it's all about getting resourceful.
Right.
When people say, they give you the objection, you're in sales and, I can't
Yeah.
afford it. No, you can.
yeah.
You can. Oh, I don't have time. No, you do. Because
Yeah.
I remember once when I was an 18-year-old kid and I said I didn't have time and I somehow drove in a snowstorm to go to a girl's house to get some pussy.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
get it
had the
again.
time.
We have the time. Yeah.
It was just for what I wanted.
It's right.
Okay, I'll find.
What
You
do I
ain't never
matter?
heard of a crackhead saying I can't afford to smoke crack today.
They'll get it
'Cause
done.
They're gonna find the money to get that motherfucking
Yep,
crack
yep.
today. So it's like
Facts.
we work from people all the way of that magnitude to even I have clients of mine that have their own companies and they're millionaires, right?
Right.
And you'd be surprised. Most millionaires actually have bad credit because they always are so heavily reliant on cash. So
Yep.
we've had plenty of clients, man, in that situation. 1 or 2 late payments, even a couple hard inquiries that just need
Yeah.
to get removed. Anything you need removed off your credit report, any
Holy
type of
crap.
repair you need, there's no discrimination here. We can help you.
Now, James, I wanted to ask you. So, credit's obviously super important, especially in America. Obviously,
Yeah.
And one of the big words that's always affiliated with credit and good credit specifically is leverage. Talk to me a little bit about leverage, because I know one of the facets of your business is you have the ability of getting people up to 250 plus
Yes.
thousand in
Funding.
funding.
Funding,
And
yep.
Pretty much at no interest, right? You were saying?
Yeah, well, combination of zero interest and of course some loans are gonna have
Absolutely.
interest. Not
Of course,
all,
of course.
not all zero interest. I mean,
Naturally.
we've done it, but it's a case by case type of scenario. So yeah, I mean, look, when after we fix your credit, right? Like I always tell people, like even if let's just say someone comes in, they already have good credit.
Right.
Okay, bro, what are you using that credit for?
And that's what I wanted
You're
to
letting it
ask
sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So it's similar, right? If you got like a 780 credit score, you got a nice, thick, juicy credit profile, you
Yeah.
got like five to 10 primary accounts on there, you got a couple, auto loans, mortgages, very well diverse. You have a nice credit portfolio,
Right.
but you're not using it. That's similar to having like 20, 30 racks in the bank and
sitting
letting it sit in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
not
it
using
into something,
Yeah.
make that bitch work for you, do
Right.
something, right? But it's like
Right.
leverage is so important because I always say, right, stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Have the capital before you need the capital, because when the right opportunity comes
in.
along,
You can strike.
then you could literally strike a deal within a matter of minutes and be like, all right, bet, let's do this. And that could be the one life-changing deal of your entire life.
Of course.
So funding
Agreed.
using your good credit is just as important as fixing your credit.
So
If it's part of me,
go
Tony,
ahead, yeah.
I just do want to touch on that real quick.
No, yeah.
What are some of the ways that, if it's not a secret, that you're leveraging credit in your business specifically?
Oh, man. So many ways.
I'm assuming marketing is one of the ways.
Oh, so you mean directly like business or just like business and personal life? Because I leverage credit in every aspect of my life.
Well, tell me a little bit about both. I know you're
Yeah.
very well versed in this.
Yeah, so I mean, in my business, I mean the general everyday things you could think of, marketing, payroll. So I'm gonna get into how I use credit for payroll, by the way, which most people they don't know how to do that, and they're actually leaving a lot of money and
rewards
points and
yeah.
rewards on the table. Marketing, ad spend, of course. Softwares that our credit repair team uses, our e-com service uses, subscriptions, just
and this is all on credit.
day-to-day things that need, like, softwares like Zapier, Calendly, things like that need Twilio, Active Campaign,
Yeah, right.
ClickFunnels,
Right.
things that require the business to be operational on a day-to-day basis, Notion, things of that nature. And then on a personal level, guys, I'll tell you, like, there's my wallet. You won't find a lick of cash in there. And it's all credit cards.
You never carry that big
right?
stack around you though, right?
No, there's like probably like 10, like 5 or 10. There's probably like 7 or 8 in there, including like my house key and all that, my license.
Do you
and all
still
that
have the
bullshit.
40, 50 cards?
I still have I have like 51 now. Yeah.
God bless.
In my personal life, everything. Food,
And we're gonna get to cards here in a bit, but continue. I wanna
dining
keep
out, food, dining out. I eat
Yeah.
out like twice a day. My dog's food. I mean, rent.
Yep.
The built card for rent.
So you're paying all this on a credit card.
Everything's credit. I think the last time I used cash was actually 2 days ago because I had to get a suit tailored. I have a wedding coming up for one of my clients in 2 weeks, and the guy only took cash. And I literally thought, I was like, can I do Cash App? Can I do Venmo or something? Because you can connect your credit card to them,
Oh, man.
to that and do that. Even my barber,
Okay.
like the barber shop doesn't take
Yeah, that's our
credit.
barber, yeah.
So I Cash App my barber, and I have my Amex linked, and then he just transferred the money to his
That's
boss.
so smart.
So I don't leave a penny on the table.
So James, just bring it back because you were about to drop a banger. You were saying
yeah.
that you even do your payroll
Yeah.
and make the most out of that with points and stuff.
Yeah, so most companies, when they do payroll, it's usually like an ACH type thing. It just comes out of the
Yep.
company's
do like a
business
wire.
bank account, or they do like a wire. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. But check this out: like every single month, my business, not just payroll, just like all business expenses in general,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm spending about anywhere between like 18 to 22K a month just on money out. So I put that on a card that just gives me just 2 times the points on every purchase. You don't have to go to 3, 4, 5, 6, just 2 times the points.
Right.
Right? Brother, that's 40 to 44,000 points every single month hitting my account. Every single month hitting my account. You multiply that by 12 months in a year. That's a round trip flight to and back from
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah.
Right? So
Dude,
what I
that's
do
so
is
smart.
I pay my people through PayPal. I pay them through softwares like Payoneer. There's a bunch of apps out there.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is connect your credit card. You connect your credit card to PayPal. Yeah, I pay a little 3% fee, but I
Right.
don't care because the
benefits,
rewards
yeah.
I get outweigh the 3% by like 10x.
Wow.
So the key thing is here is obviously you have a successful business, right?
Sure.
And I think here's the misconception a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
People think use your credit card, but it's not backed by cash, so like then you're just running all this debt and you're kind of finding yourself in the same spot, right?
Yeah.
But in your case, what you're saying is, dude, if you have the cash there, let this credit work for you. You pay it off, you're making an ROI every time with that credit card.
100%. And even if, all right, like guys, even if you don't, I mean, how much debt is Apple in? Do you guys know?
How much is what?
How much debt is Apple in? Apple, like our iPhones.
Oh,
Do you guys know? Take like a wild guess. I don't know like the down to the penny number, but I have a general idea. How much debt do you guys think?
If I had to guess
right
for a company as big as Apple,
like the Apple
would
company.
say-
yeah, how much debt that?
Oh, they're a $1 trillion company.
Okay.
I would say
500 billion plus.
probably some ridiculous. I would say in the billions, if not. I don't want to sound ignorant, but maybe even trillion.
Yeah, So the last time I checked, they're about 1.3
Billion. Yeah,
debt.
that's insane.
Do you think Apple doesn't have the cash to use their own funding to make iPhones, to use it for marketing, to run campaigns, to pay their employees? Do you really think they don't? Listen, we're talking about Apple here.
Yeah,
the iPhone maker here.
Yeah.
The iPad, the MacBook Pro maker here.
$1 trillion company, yeah.
Why do they leverage debt? Why does Elon leverage debt? Why does Jeff Bezos leverage debt? Why do they all leverage debt? Because here's the thing. Every day you're getting fucked by the banks.
You are, yeah.
So you want to fuck them back.
Right.
I'm going to use your money as leverage, and I'm going to save my own money for a rainy day or for emergencies.
Agreed.
So always use the bank's money. It's safer.
Yep,
okay?
that's a big thing I heard.
And
Yeah.
and in business, here's the thing: in business is very unpredictable. Even if you have a very predictable business, you can forecast the next 2 or 3 quarters on what your revenue and net profit is going to be.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in business, so you always want to have that reserve there ready to go. And credit allows you to do that.
So we were actually just talking about this before.
Sure.
Gotta ask you, James, the Lambo,
Oh yes.
credit, cash. How'd
Credit.
you go about
How
that?
do you pay the Lambo?
Well, so the Lambo, I have to pay every monthly payment with cash.
You do, yeah,
unfortunately.
I figured.
It comes out of my account because they're not that advanced yet where they allow you to pay a car payment with credit. Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure like Built came out and they allow you to pay rent. And sometimes even your mortgage.
That new one I heard.
Yeah, with your credit card. So I'm sure something's gonna come out to allow you to do that. But that unfortunately is cash. Although I could still, I'll give the audience some free game right here, right? I shouldn't even be saying I should be charging for this information, but
You're the best,
here's
James.
how you can kind of do it, right?
Only on iKONIC.
Oh, iKONIC, baby.
Only on iKONIC. So here's how you can do it, right? Like let's just say you have an LLC or you have a business.
Okay.
Here's how you could liquidate cash. This is all legal, obviously, right?
Of course.
You open up like a merchant account,
Okay.
like a Stripe, like a payment processor.
Yeah.
Or if you have a friend that has a payment processor, or whatever the case may be, what you could do is you could just put a credit card on file and charge yourself that amount. So if my car payment, like the Lambos, is about $8,000 a month for both of them, what I could do is I could charge myself or have my buddy. Make sure it's a good friend, a buddy of yours.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
things like chargebacks and shit like that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Charge the card, pay the 3% processing fee, and then just wire the money. If it's your own account, the money hits your own account. If it's your boy, have your boy wire the money over to your account. You make your car payment, and you still get the 16,000 points.
Holy.
I don't do
crap.
that personally because it's just
It's
it's
been
a lot of
hassle.
work for me, and I
Yeah.
don't like whatever. It is what it is, but like that's a way you could do
That's
it.
crazy.
Okay, so this brings up a
Damn,
really
James.
good point. Like, it's going to Lambo because this is another thing I wanted to get into, right? Like I said before about the whole. We had a funny comment where someone was like, "Yeah, those are rents. There's no way he affords." And I was like,
Yeah, it's
I was like,
hilarious.
but I want to get into this, right? For people that like us, I dream one day of having a Lambo, possibly a Urus. Maybe like an STO like yours. When did you know you're ready for a Lambo? Like, when did you know, like, all right, I make enough income,
Yeah.
and now I can afford it. And what are the logistics of a Lambo specifically? Because I feel like people don't get the whole reality of it. They just think I have 200K, I'm gonna drop 80 down. Like, give me a bit of your game and when.
Well, I don't think that's a question for me because those are rentals. I actually have to get out of here because I have to return them. Yeah, they're rentals. That's why I put custom plates and my Instagram handle stickers all over the car. That's why they're rentals, man. Well, quick question: what color is your Lamborghini? You don't have one. Okay, bro.
James,
so
that's gonna upset some people.
Yeah,
right
that's gonna piss a lot of people off. But
yeah, let me know in the
we
comments.
gotta clip this. We gotta clip
Let
this.
me know in the comments what color your Lamborghini is, and then I will possibly give you 10 seconds of my time, Brokey. Anyway, so I was my businesses were consistently generating over 100K a month. Cash collected, not like revenue, because guys, revenue is fake money. Let's
Yeah,
just
it's
be
not real, yeah.
I generated 300,000 in revenue. Yeah, but like you have a bunch of clients that haven't paid you yet, and they might drop off, they might churn. So I was collecting 100K a month consistently, month over month, consistently for over like 2 years.
100K a month, James.
100K a month, and at the time I was still driving. Like I drove an X3M M3 competition. My payments were like $1,200 a month.
Okay.
Like they were fun
They're
cars,
modest,
but I was
yeah.
being very frugal, and I was still living in like a 1-bedroom apartment. I was paying like 3K
Right.
3K a month for rent, so everything was like under like 10% of like my net.
You didn't
Right.
upgrade your life so immediately after.
Not
seeing money.
immediately, no.
Right,
Little
which you're
by
not
little,
supposed to,
not
yeah.
immediately. Yeah. So That was kind of where I realized that I could afford them, but I didn't even buy one at that point because for me it wasn't just about earned income, and I talk about this all the time. It's about passive income. It's about assets. So
Right.
okay, I can make $100K a month. I could spend $8K a month, or let's just say plus insurance, $10K a month total on both of those Lambos,
Yeah.
plus insurance. Right, that's only 10% of my monthly income. Great. But that's money that I worked hard for.
Exactly.
That I'm on calls for. That I'm closing deals
Yeah,
for.
cold calling, the whole
So what
nine,
I
yeah.
did was I invested first. I invested into assets. The market, stocks, crypto, passive income assets, e-commerce. I did things such as dabbled into real estate just a little bit.
Right.
Until I had enough every single month. I knew for sure I had this amount of money hitting my account. And
Passively.
And then that's going to go to the toys. Because I don't care. I don't care. Lambos are stupid, bro. It's a fucking stupid ass fucking.
Right.
It's
Beautiful car,
it's a
though.
liability.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a liability.
I use it smartly for business.
For marketing.
But realistically, it's a stupid purchase.
Right.
Watches, jewelry, it's stupid. But it doesn't matter if it's stupid if you're not working to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So your recommendation to the guy, like for example us, right? So when we're ready, first start with the money that you're right now basically putting elbow grease in, protect it with your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leverage credit any way you can. Take advantage of those business opportunities. Fix your credit is extremely important, especially like you said, taking advantage of business opportunities. Once you figured out a way to use that money that you're putting elbow grease on to start making it passively, the passive income's the one you start maybe messing around with toys and whatnot.
That's how I have always done it. Because I refuse to be a slave to anything.
Agreed.
The average American is a slave to their mortgage.
Yep.
They're a slave to that.
That's a 30.
That red shiny BMW.
Yeah.
Okay. They're a slave to their wonderful wedding that they're gonna throw, that they're gonna be in debt for the next 5 years for. Oh, but we had a wedding, right? It's like the average American
At what cost?
is a slave tied to something.
Right.
For me, I don't want to be a slave to anything. I want to be free. It's okay. I'll keep working. I'm always gonna be working.
Right.
I don't have to, but I love to work.
Work.
Right. But that doesn't make me a slave if I love to do it because I choose when I can work.
Yeah.
The moment I become a slave is when it's like, oh well, I'm sweating to make my Lambo payment this month. I'm sweating to pay my penthouse rent this month. I'm sweating to da 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 da.
Yeah.
I'm not sweating for any of that.
James.
And that's real financial freedom.
James, you're such an interesting person, and it just shocks me that you were able to achieve this at genuinely such a young age.
By the
Like,
way, that's the one thing that blows our mind every time we talk about it.
Yeah.
You're freaking our age. And you
yeah,
got
like you
two Lambos.
you are, dude. I gotta ask, when was it? If you've even had this kind of like eureka moment, when you kind of said to yourself like, "Damn, I kind of made it." Like, when did it change for you? What income threshold was that? Has it hit you yet? What do you think?
No, that hasn't hit because I haven't done shit. I'm literally like every day I wake up, I'm like, I literally got like my pinky toe wet.
Right.
There's people out there doing 100K a day, 100K an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
I was in a room at a networking event last weekend with a room full of 8-figure earners.
Tell me about that because you were at the that Vault, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about where you
Yeah,
were.
dude.
Yeah. So I was at this event. This place is called Chicane 8. Two of my good friends started up. Their brothers, and it's basically like a luxury. It's like a luxury car storage facility, but not a facility. It's like a networking hub where they only accept X amount of members as an invite only.
Wow.
And then you're invited to track days. You're invited to go to their warehouse for all of their events, and you have to be not only financially qualified, but you have to fit the aura and the energy because they don't want just respectfully they're not gonna want the wrong. I just want to say the wrong crowd of people, the people that aren't gonna fit into the niche of the type of members that they're looking for. And I was in a room full of 8-figure earners. I was like, yeah, here I am. I'm sitting here like, yo, I'm killing it, and these guys are freaking doing $100 million a year. And it's like they're looking at guys like me like, damn, like I'm a small fish. So, but I like that. I like being the brokest one in the room.
Right.
So it's like it hasn't hit me yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was cool like when I made my first 10, 15, 20K a month years ago. And I was like, holy shit, like I could breathe. But there's so much money in this world.
So much.
It hasn't hit me yet because I haven't done anything yet.
Is it hard to get to that 10 to 15K per month? I feel like a lot of people never even get there.
Is it hard? It could be.
Yeah.
It could be if you don't devote yourself to a high income skill. It could be if you have red shiny object syndrome and you decide to hop from thing to thing to thing. Oh, I'm going to do affiliate marketing. Now I'm going to do dropshipping. Now I'm going to do copywriting. Oh my God, somebody said I should trade Forex. It's like you're just hopping from red shiny object to red shiny object.
And I'm trying to master it.
My whole thing is focus on one thing. Because what are you going to get more out of putting 100% into one thing or 25% into 4 different things?
Right.
You're going to get more out of 100% putting 100% into one thing. So is it difficult? It can be if you lack ambition, if you refuse to invest into yourself, if you refuse to learn, and most importantly, if you refuse to take action. But if you can do all those things and you have those characteristics, 10 to 15K a month, I feel that anybody can hit, a homeless guy can hit that with a cell phone.
With a cell phone, right? I hear that all the time.
Or internet connection.
Yeah.
James, you know what? That resonates with me so much because honestly, I suffered with that for a long time.
Yeah.
The red shiny object
Shiny
syndrome.
object syndrome, yeah.
And it's very weird because now I'm just coming to realize that if you want to be successful in anything, you got to stick to it.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things, like remaining disciplined and even when it gets
Ugly.
difficult, boring, ugly, hard, like you said, you got to just stick through it, ride it out.
Yes, sir.
No, and one thing I do want to get out of this, right? Because this is where it gets really valuable, especially for someone like you, right? When I look at you, we want to end up in your position. We talk about this all the time.
Sure.
At least by the time we're 30, 31, we want to
Sure.
we want to ride in our Lambos together with you,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna grind this out. But now, in your perspective, right? Like you said, you're a little fish in this big, massive pond that we're in, right? And you're with these 8-figure earners. What are some of the lessons you think you got out of those conversations that you started realizing, holy crap, I didn't think of this, and like you said, you haven't really done much yet compared to these guys.
Man, I think one of the biggest things I learned was like just the way I thought about business. Because like, the way I came up, like the way I learned business, the way I learned how to make money, like even back when I was an online, went from an in-person personal trainer to an online trainer, was okay, I'm going to provide a service, right? And I'm going to charge you X amount of money. So I'm going to provide you a program. I'll charge you $1,000 for it, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to, keep getting more and more clients, or I'm going to create a subscription and I'm just going to, every month I have to get X amount of clients paying me this much. But there's such a larger, like 40,000 foot view to business where just thinking bigger, like, okay, what if you thought like, for example, for someone like myself, which is something that I'm actively working towards, what if we started serving credit repair to corporate companies and their employees, right? Okay, like a company of 500 employees, and they want me to come in and just be their in-house credit repair guy, or in-house credit, Limitless Financials, an in-house credit repair company. They need help raising funding. We could be a JV, joint venture, and we can go ahead and get your clients funding. What if we partnered with car dealerships, like the largest car dealerships in the nation, with the largest real estate brokerages in the nation?
They're all
right?
credit. Yeah.
So, and there's even another step behind that, like at an enterprise level, which like I didn't even think of any of that until I've met a lot of these people, not only at the event this past weekend, but just being in chats and in circles of these people where it's like, dude, you're thinking of just how you can make money today, but like, what about the enterprise value? What about the exit?
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was just like, holy fuck, like what have I been doing this whole, not what have I been doing, but
Right.
why have I been thinking so small? Another thing is, speaking of that, is your network is your net worth. So like when you surround yourself, like when I was in that room of 8-figure earners, the energy, it was just different.
It's totally
the
different.
aura is
Like you said, the
different.
aura, yeah.
Right? Versus you go into it like, you go into a room and it's like, people that are lazy, unambitious, they're playing video games all day.
They're playing
turns you
devil's
off. It turns you
advocate.
off.
They're
Yeah.
yeah.
I literally feel like I'm losing brain cells, and I
Yeah.
just get so turned off by that where it's like, I can't learn anything from you because I'm the richest one in the room. I'm the highest status in the room. And it's like, I don't like that. I want to be the brokers. I want to have the least amount of power because I want to learn from those above me. So that would be the second thing.
Dude, that is so huge, man. And I think the biggest thing I've come to realize, like, leveraging your network is extremely important.
Yep.
How does someone, let's just say like someone like normal like ourselves, right?
Yeah.
That are trying to get to your position. What are some good places to go network? What have you seen? What helped you kind of have those conversations, get some shortcuts? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I would say a couple places. Number one, it's actually funny. You want to go into really high-end restaurants, right? Even if it's like once a month or once every other month, once, for crying out loud, once a quarter. You go to a really high-end restaurant where like, dude, like one steak is like $100 for like a 8-ounce steak, right? Totally not worth it. But guess what? Whether you're waiting sitting in the waiting area or the table next to you, or you're at the bar getting a drink,
You're in the right room.
You're in the right room because guess what? Those people, if you're dining at the restaurant, well, if you're either a gold digger, right, which you guys aren't, okay, or you have to be someone that can actually afford the food.
Right.
Number two, exotic car dealerships or car events, car meets. Okay, and when I say car meets, I don't mean those
The ones where
stupid
everyone
ass
has their
car
Honda.
The ones in Edgewater.
they're revving their fucking stupid ass engines and doing
Yeah.
burnouts, right? Like you're losing money by going to those events, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
But you want to go to high end, like there's a lot in Jersey that are like Cars and Social, like those ones in South Jersey, Central
and
Jersey
Social.
that like Cousins Seafood Restaurant hosts. Like, dude, you see like Revoltos, you see Bugattis, hypercars
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
shit.
You go to those events, you strike the right conversation with those types of people. Again, I'm not saying you have to strike a deal with them right now, but now you know them now. They know you and you know them.
Even especially for us, like being we're podcasting, like that's the
Dude,
great
like,
way to
that's
get in
like,
front of these people.
Get new guests, yeah.
And last but not least, airline lounges and or first/business class flights, but they kind of tie hand in hand. So whenever I go to Dubai,
Yeah.
I fly first or business. So I go to the first or business class lounge.
Yes.
Again, the people that are in there, even if you're not crushing it, right?
Right.
You're doing something right.
There's no losers.
There's
in
no
that.
loser, no.
Right? Like you're not just getting onto an Emirates first or business class flight that costs anywhere between $5 to $20 cash out of pocket. I don't pay cash. I
Yeah.
use miles, but cash value. It's not just anybody that's going to be able to get on these flights. So you can strike a conversation, be in the same room, and just be in the same aura and energy as those people. There's more like cigar lounges, stuff like that, but those would be my top 3.
Dude, James, this is so true because I remember whenever I go out for business in Maryland, I met a lobbyist for Amazon, and he kind of explained to me my whole network are senators, governors, all across the country. And I was like, well, how did you guys kind of get into it? He's like, well, he went to school for this, whatnot. And he wrote a speech for Bill Clinton. And me and this guy, we're just sharing an old fashioned, having a conversation with my girlfriend. We're talking about this, like, one of the best hotels in Baltimore.
Okay.
And I just remember just sitting, I'm like, holy crap. And it's so true. You just don't know who you're going to speak with. And this guy just gave me his whole game about, like, my AWS, right? So what they specifically do when he's trying to work these contracts with his senators, he's got to prove to get warehouses built, to get, like, new facilities, distribution. And I'm, like, thinking to myself, like, I didn't know that was a freaking job.
You see?
But to the point, like, holy crap. Like, you
see?
just don't know. There's so much. The world's so big, to your point. You'll never know you're going to meet at these places. Now, one thing I want you to drop game on us here real quick is what are some restaurants by name that you've been with in Jersey that be like, Ant, you got to go check it out. I've seen it's been a good spot or
In Jersey?
in Jersey. Because I know you're in Fort Lee, and there's a lot of good restaurants out there.
Yeah, I mean, Fort Lee, there's a lot of restaurants out there that are amazing for like good tasting food, but like if you're talking more so from like a networking perspective, I mean, let's say in Paramus, that whole strip, in the Garden State Mall, Eddie V's Steakhouse.
Capital Grill probably.
Capital Grill is like, and they're kind of like corporate.
How's
chain
their steak?
restaurant.
How's their steak?
Capital Grill? It's banging.
Okay,
it's
good.
banging.
We're talking about
Seafood
that,
Tower is the best. I love the Seafood
Yeah.
Tower. Eddie V's.
V's?
Capital Grill,
Okay.
kind of.
What about Morton's?
Morton's, that's my second favorite. Morton's, again, it's like I remember, I think I was
cool.
there in March. I dropped like 1,500 on like a group of like, I think a group of like 6 or 7 of my friends. It was freaking insane.
Nice.
I feel like
But
the city though.
Ruth Chris, the city. That's the thing. I hate the city, so I can't speak on that. But
Agreed,
definitely, if
agreed.
you go to a high end spot in like the
Like
city,
a Nobu or something like
like a
that, yeah.
Nobu, you're gonna meet like a lot of high end, high net worth people. Another place I would say is, I just lost my train of thought. I forgot what place it was. I personally don't. Okay, I don't like the place, but they just opened up in Fort Lee, like La Noma.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I personally don't like it. It's a little too
I went there
Is that the
recently.
one on the hill?
Yeah.
Huh?
Like, is that the one when you're coming up the hill?
No, it's right across from Paris Baguette. It's right on the
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what
It's
you're
like
talking
right. Yeah,
It's
always
like right
nice
on the
ass
block from your
cars. You
house.
have to be in a suit and tie going in. That's not my vibe, but you're gonna meet a lot of success. So like, if you're in Jersey, like those are some of the places I would definitely check out. 130 Club.
130
in
Club.
Tenafly. I love
Okay.
130 Club. A lot of high end people there.
Yeah.
So those are a few.
No, this is perfect, man. And one thing I do want to clip here because I feel like we basically hit everything, but this is one thing I want to touch before we wrap up. So you talk about first class, and for a lot of people, they think you have to pay it out cash. But I know there's a whole game with points, right? For somebody like myself, right? I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. I have 22K points, right? And I want to keep stacking that. So I don't have much yet, but I want to take advantage of it.
Sure.
Does it make sense? Because a lot of credit cards offer this. Does it make sense to purchase my travel through the credit card, or what have you seen as a good way to leverage the most of your points? So to look for promos, any software you recommend to finding the best kind of points advantage?
Yeah. So when it comes to airline miles, like for flights,
Yeah.
I always transfer to the actual partner. So
Okay.
I never book an Emirates flight through Amex or Capital One or Chase.
Okay.
I always transfer to Emirates Skywards. I mean, the ratio is 1-to-1. So, a thousand miles is a thousand points is 1,000 miles.
Right.
It's the same ratio. You transfer it over, and then once you go to the actual partnering airlines app or website, then once you go ahead and book the flight, it's going to go ahead and give you an option to use your rewards, which enables you to either get a free flight or literally pay like 0 to nothing except for taxes and fees
Right.
out of your own pocket. Now, when you do that through the actual, like if I go to Amex app and I try to book an Emirates flight, first of all, the options, the flight times, even the aircrafts are like completely different.
Yeah.
And the ratio just freaking sucks to the point where I end up having to actually pay more than I would if I were to actually transfer it through Emirates.
Okay.
So
got
always
it.
transfer to the partnering airline if the ratio makes sense. You at least want like a 1-to-1 ratio, and if it makes sense, you always want to do that. You get the best bang for your buck that way.
That's big. Okay, perfect. No, yeah, because I always feel like that's always a big thing we see quite a bit, and I'm always like trying to figure it out myself. So I'm like, all right, let me ask James about this.
Yeah, transfer them. Transfer them.
Transfer
Yeah,
them. Okay, transfer them. Don't
to whatever airline you want to fly.
Right.
Whatever
And take
airline,
advantage of their rewards and all that. Okay.
Yeah, you want to go to Japan, whatever, like transfer it to Tokyo or Japan Air, like whatever makes the most sense. Create an account with them, transfer it over. It's immediate. It's free.
Yeah.
Just transfer it over, and then you'll book through the app, and then you'll reap the benefit.
We were just talking about this before. If you use the point system in a strategic way, similar to what you're doing, you can almost have like another income with that if you look at the amount of things you'll be able to get just from the rewards programs.
Well, like I said earlier, every single month is about 40,000 points I get just from payroll and
nuts.
business expenses.
That's like
crazy.
$4,000.
That's
like free
not-
money. That's 1-to-1, right?
That's not including my personal expenses. I'm
my
a
God.
freaking pig when it comes to eating out. I spend another 6 to 8K a month eating out.
You
So
get
on the
3x points.
MX Gold, that's 4 times the points per dollar spent.
Yeah.
So that's another 24 to 32 thousand points every single month. You multiply that by so just in that alone, it's
Jeez.
like on those two things alone, I can rack up close to 1 million points a year, not even including miscellaneous shit like mentors, investments,
Yeah.
Holy
large
crap.
purchases, whatever, things of that nature.
I'm curious on this because I know we kind of asked you the first time, but I want to make sure we get a really solid clip here.
Yeah, sure.
For just your top 3 credit cards, I'm going to give you 3 categories, and I just
Sure.
want you to list them to me in terms of your favorite.
Okay, tell me.
1 travel, 1 dining, because I feel like those are the most common ones, and then number 3 business. What would you recommend in those 3 categories?
Travel, dining, and business.
Business. 1 for
Okay.
each.
Okay. Oof, that's okay. So for travel, it's tough. I would say for travel, you really can't go wrong with the MX Platinum.
Okay.
Okay. And the MX Platinum's competitor as well is the Chase Sapphire Preferred.
Okay.
So those are kind of like the 2 heavy hitters for travel. You really can't go wrong with either of those. They both come with a high annual fee, but they both offer very similar travel perks. The whole TSA
The lounges, yep.
clear, all of the lounge access, etc. Dining. Hands fucking down, the American Express Gold Card. I live, eat, and breathe by that. It's the card I use the most. 4 times the points for every $1 spent on dining and groceries. And then business, man, this is tough because what does your business spend the most on?
Right.
Right? So, for example, if your business just spends the most, let's just say like on ad spend, then the American Express Business Gold Card would be good because they give you 4 times the points on every dollar for your 2 most spent categories that qualify. They have to be qualifying categories, right? But if you don't spend like much on ads and like there's not, it's one of the categories don't qualify. Like one of the ones I use the most is just the Capital One Spark Business Miles card. A lot of people aren't gonna like this card because Capital One reports their business credit cards on the personal credit report. It does suck, but I pay my shit off every month, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It gives me 2 times the miles, okay, on every $1 spent. So again, the payroll, the expenses.
Yep.
That's the card that gives me. If I spend 20 grand a month, 40,000 points, and it hits like within 24 hours, which is sick. Because then I can, if I'm like last minute, I'm booking a flight to Dubai in like a week, I don't have to wait a whole month on
A
like
whole billing
Amex.
cycle, yeah.
It transfers right away.
Dude,
So
that's
that's for
amazing.
me, but it
Okay.
really depends on like your personal goals.
Right, and where you're spending your money on.
The Chase Business Inc. card is also good as well. 0% interest for 12 months, and that one gives you 1.5 times the points on all purchases. So that one's a pretty heavy hitter as well.
Dude, James, this is exactly what we're looking for, man. I feel like today we accomplished a lot of things.
Golden
right?
episode, dude. Thank you very much for the info, dude.
Your audience now understands your business, right? From the credit repair side, the funding side, leveraging credit. But I think also right now, like you just gave them a ton of game from how to leverage your credit cards, how to handle your debt.
Hacks.
Obviously, from a money management standpoint, if you don't have the capital to back yourself up, just be smart with your credit. Leverage it appropriately. Now, I know sometimes we look at it from a negative side. We talk about scammers, people not believing in your business. But I feel like there's 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that want to start their business, right? Want to grow, have multiple Lambos, earn that life. For the first person getting their first credit card, or let me rephrase that, for them to be as advantageous as possible getting into the credit world and start taking advantage of it, what's a good way to start? What would you recommend them to do?
Yes. 3 top things. Number 1, you want to do is you want to get on a secured credit card. So what a secured credit card is basically a debit card, but it reports all of your on-time payments onto the credit bureaus. So whatever your security deposit is going to be your credit limit. Okay, so I have a link I can even drop in the bio for your audience as well, where what happens is if you put $200 security deposit, your credit limit's $200, right?
Yep.
But you were going to use that money anyways out of your checking account, out of your debit card.
Exactly.
So swipe that for everything. You're 18, 19. What do you spend money on? Gas, food, maybe your girlfriend, whatever, right? Cool. So you might as well build credit history while doing that. Yeah. Eventually, that's going to turn into an unsecured credit card because the bank sees that you're responsible. Number 2, credit builders. This is something that I haven't touched upon too much in the previous episodes. Things like Kovo. Kovo is my favorite. Ava, Credit Strong. So what credit builders do is ultimately it's like an installment loan. Every single month, it's like a subscription, right? You buy one of their products or services. I should say that Kovo is only $10 a month. That's like 34 cents a day, I believe, right? And you have it on auto pay every month. It takes $10 out, and it reports all of the on-time payments every single month as a primary account onto your credit report.
Can you leverage this also for the people struggling with credit right now?
Anybody.
Yeah,
you can have bad credit, and like Kovo will accept anybody, even with bad. I'm a partner with Kovo. They will accept. Yeah, I have a client.
Crazy.
I have an affiliate link. We'll put the link in the description.
We'll put the link in the description for the audience if you guys are interested. I had a client with a 450. Because you just sign up, and all it is you sign up. You have the $10 a month on auto pay, and as long as you just pay the $10, which is again 34 cents a day. They report the positive payment history as your account, not as an authorized user, as your account onto the credit bureau. And then last but not least is authorized user trade lines. Like, for example, if you're young, you want to get on authorized user trade lines, whether it's your family, or make sure that it's the right credit card. They have perfect payment history. It's a high limit. Or we provide trade lines as well. My personal trade lines, we sell those as well as one of our services. You want to get on trade lines because trade lines are copy and paste. Anything you could do, I could do better. So if I add you on, Anthony or Nick, if I add you guys onto one of my let's just say my Bank of America credit cards. It's been open since 2020. It's got 5 years of age. It's got a $15,000 credit limit. Perfect payment history. Now all of that history just got copied and pasted after I add you onto your account. So now when the banks see your credit report, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, this guy has got some sauce here. He's got some depth. I can somewhat trust him now."
Right.
Versus before, an average 18, 19-year-old, what do they have on their credit? Either nothing or they have like one account. And guess what? You ain't getting approved for nothing. Good luck getting approved for a credit card because the banks are looking at you like kind of like a financial resume. You walk into a job. Mr. Jones, how much work experience have you had? I worked 2 months at an ice cream shop. Yeah, I'm not fucking hiring you. Right? Yeah, so, again, secured credit card, credit builders, and authorized user trade lines. Doesn't cost a lot of money to do those things. It's just
and just to get you started.
Just to get you started.
I saw one of your stories. You got, I think it was like a 19 or 20-year-old. Dude, you got him like $30K in like freaking like like a credit line. Obviously through a credit card, but dude, $30,000 if you're smart with that, freaking you get in the right business opportunity or even like a mastermind, anything like that.
He was actually starting his own agency. He wanted to do like a marketing agency, kind of like providing like video editing services, graphic design services. And he didn't need the full 30K, but he just he wanted to have some capital to use, and he got it for him. And he's doing well. I talked to him like 2 weeks ago.
We gotta get you connected. We gotta get you connected to our guy Eric. He's been freaking a big backbone now, part of this. I mean, without our guys here, Rolando and Dion. First of all, the quality, the audio,
really brought us to the
that's like that was like half the battle. Now, not only are we like working on the back end now, getting all this content pushed out, man. We got a great team. We're trying to move. For the audience, and for them, we want to make sure you get plugged in this time. That's we're getting more polished. Where can they find you? Where can they get in touch with you if they need credit repair, funding, e-coms help? Just plug yourself in here too.
Yeah, man, easy. So platform that I'm most active on is Instagram. So you can find me up on Instagram, James_Jiang, JIANG___. You can also, if you need directly our credit repair services, you could go to lfscredit.com directly and apply through there. And other than that, you can also shoot me an email at info@limitlessfinancialsolutions.org. But again, the Instagram page is probably the best way to contact me, as myself and my team are always constantly active in the account to assist you guys with anything that you might need credit or finance related.
James, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you coming on the podcast again, dude.
Me.
And yeah, man, you guys are going to for sure see James on in another couple of months. I'm assuming.
We definitely. This time, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, we'll see you pull up in a Bugatti or something, man.
Or yo,
it'll be rented.
Listen, I'm gonna throw this in the universe, right, dude? Yeah. Maybe, God willing, some way, shape, or form. Maybe I'm crazy with this. We could somehow shoot a podcast in the vault.
What's the vault?
Let me call my people and let me see what we can do.
Cool. So
let me call my people and let me see what we can do. If that's not possible, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Mauricio. He's actually opening up. This has never been done in New Jersey before. It's called Worked Up, and it's going to be in Old Tappan, New Jersey. It's going to be a co-working space, but a co-working space like you've never seen in the Northeast. It's going to be, a luxury office spaces, a whole podcast room, a content room, and where business owners like us can go and host our meeting and network with other high net worth individuals. So we're not talking about cubicles or renting an office. This is a luxury co-working content space, like the type of stuff that they have in Miami and Dubai. This is the only one that they're gonna have in the Northeast. My boy Mauricio is opening that up very soon, probably in the next month and a half, 2 months. So that's also going to be a location. You guys keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, we'll keep the audience informed on that.
We could honestly, man, we could get down and we can make this happen. We can make this happen anywhere.